Tonight, a news hour. As Nigeria's government fingers 96 terrorism financiers, Borno State Governor warns against allowing ISWAP to grow. Wives of Bureau de Change operators arrested for Boko Haram sponsorship demand formal charge in court. Normalcy returns to Kwara School after hijab controversy provoked violent clash. And in the foreign news, ECOWAS holds emergency summit after coups in West Africa. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Hour. I am Iwela. Thank you for joining. Nigeria's government on Thursday says it identified 96 terrorism financiers and 123 companies are involving, insisting that the fight against pervasive corruption as one of its three cardinal promises to Nigerians is yielding results. Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, said this at a news conference in Abuja, the nation's capital. Trust TV's Shafiu Suleiman reports.
Speaking on what he calls structural and governance reforms aimed at tackling the monster, Lai Mohammed says the Buhari government is deploying institutional and legal frameworks to defeat the long-term enemy of the country, in addition to unmasking terror financiers and collaborators.
The analysis by the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit, NFIU, in 2021 revealed 96 financiers of terrorism in Nigeria, 424 associate supporters of the financiers, involvement of about 123 companies, and 33 bureau de change, in addition to identifying 26 suspected bandits, kidnappers, and 7 co-conspirators. The analysis has resulted in the arrest of 45 suspects who will soon face prosecution and seizure of assets.
Reeling out the statistics, the minister says implementation of the Single Treasury Account, TSA, hits 90%, with a saving of 4 billion naira monthly in bank charges, recovery of 700 billion naira in 2020 alone, and detection of 54,000 fraudulent payrolls in government system through whistleblower policy, amongst others.
In 2021 alone, the EFCC secured a total of 2,220 convictions. That represents a 127% increase in the number of convictions, which was now 76 recorded in 2020, and a far cry from the 195 convictions secured in 2016, the 189 in 2017, and the 312 convictions in 2018, and the 1,280 recorded in 2019.
The media engagement is coming barely a week after an international anti-corruption watchdog, the Transparency International Corruption Perception Index 2021, rates Nigeria as 154 amongst 200 countries grappling with souring public sector corruption enabled by bribery, official extortion and nepotism. Shafiu Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
In the meantime, wives of Bureau de Change operators in Kano who were detained in connection with terrorism financing are asking authorities to visit the case of their husbands detained nearly for 11 months without being charged to court since their arrest. Trust TV correspondent Idris Jibrin reports that the women alongside their children visit palace of Emir of Kano, Aminu Ado Bayero, to seek for his intervention. The report.
For almost 1 year now, these women and children have been waiting to hear the news of their men's whereabouts. But so far, there seems to be no good news for them. They say their husbands were initially invited by security operatives to respond to some questions, but since then, they have not either come home nor sent a word regarding their situation.
Since they invited them 11 months ago, we haven't heard anything from them. We are just waiting with our children and life is difficult for us. We can't pay our children's school fees, and even those assisting are getting tired of us. We even went to Abuja where they told us the case will be coming on in court, yet nothing. More importantly, they have not told us what they are being charged with, and no one is telling us anything for 11 months now. We need help. We don't know if they are dead or alive. No one is telling us anything. We need help. We need government intervention.
According to these people, the absence of their husbands and parents is making life difficult for them, as they beg authorities to come to their aid by at least telling them the whereabouts of their men.
At the first place, we thought he was kidnapped. My mother is in terrible condition all about this. We are seeking for the government to see us through about this. We voted them to protect us, not to be against us.
For almost 11 months. It is very unfortunately without seeing my dad. I don't even know whether he's alive or not. Hearing his voice has been very difficult for us in our family. We are suffering.
To see our fathers. I've not been able to attend school almost for 11 months. I finished my secondary school. I'm still at home every day. I have nothing to do. I'm just waiting for him to come. I've already lost this year for my schooling, so I don't have anything. Please, I'm calling for this government. Please help me release our fathers because I've been very nice and I don't have anything to do.
Meanwhile, the Association of Bureau de Change in Kano confirmed that the people involved are with the Nigeria security authorities on allegation of aiding terrorism, and that they are doing their best to get to the root of the matter.
Then at the time they arrest them, they say they wanted to talk to them to know what is the situation. We just leave them like that. So we wait small, we wait, they don't do anything. We are still waiting up to this time. They don't even allow us to see them or anything from them. We don't hear anything from them, we and their families.
In the meantime, the Emir of Kano, Alhaji Amina Ado Bayero, who received the women in his palace, directed that their complaint be put before him in writing for assessment and subsequent possibility of his intervention. Idris Jubrin, Trust TV News, Kano.
So other matters now. Bandits kill one Aliu Ibrahim, a commercial driver at Tashar Biri village of the Musa local government area of Katsina State. The suspected bandits crossed into Tashar Biri village from a nearby forest around 8:30 p.m. on Monday after blocking Katsina Marabar Kankara Road, where they assaulted and robbed passengers and other road users. The commercial driver died when he attempted to escape, as 20 passengers were also abducted in the process. Abdullahi Yamadi has details of the report.
Rob and to some extent kill passengers and other road users severally on the same spot. Tasharbiri village, which has a population of over 5,000 people, has been deserted for the fear of attack by bandits and other criminals. The villagers who flee the community to other locations for safety called on the government to deploy more security personnel to protect them from the brutality of the suspected bandits.
8:30 p.m. Kidnappers, they are out from the bush beside our town with their gun. About 8 people, 8 kidnappers. They have blocked the road.
These criminals are giving us serious headache. We don't know what to do. Government need to do something about it. We are tired and we are weak. They, however, lamented the inaction of military personnel who are just 1 kilometer away from the village to their camp at Marabar Dang Ali. Back at the family house of Aliu Ibrahim at Yentumaki town, people were seen trooping to register their condolences. Badia Aliu, who is his widow, expressed shock and lament the incessant killings occasioned by the contemporary insecurity situation bedeviling Katsina and other northwestern states. The day he left, I saw some strange things on his face. His son was waving at him as he went out of this house. Something happened and he turned back as if he forgot something. He came in twice and went out, though he didn't utter a word. May his soul rest in perfect peace. Amen. Also at Entumaki town, Trust television camera captured the face of Fatima Ahmad, the younger sister to one of the abductees, Aisha Ahmad, who said the bandits are demanding the sum of 20 million naira as ransom to release her sister. In a related development, suspected bandits have attacked Ruangode village of Faskari local government area in Katsina state and abducted 38 people. Reports from Ruangode indicate that the bandits arrived at the village in their numbers and started shooting sporadically to scare people from any possible resistance. Though there is a military camp at Government Day Secondary School Ruangode, the villagers say the bandits operated for almost an hour without any response from either the soldiers or other security operatives in the area. Dr. Bashir Usman Ruangode lamented the inaction of the military camped in the village and called for thorough investigation into the matter.
They were under possible attack. So up till around 7 p.m. of that particular fateful day, nobody actually did anything as proactive measure to prevent the suspected possible attack. In fact, when it all started, gunshots were heard, and they keep on calling me that they are receiving guns, they are hearing gunshots. I was pacifying them that yes, the military are about to do something. So I had to continue putting call to the military officers I have contact with. Up to the time, one of them told me that they are going to reinforce those ones in Ruangode from Shege with their armored vehicle. Unfortunately, those in Ruangode, from the reports I have confirmed before and even after during my visit yesterday at the community, they told me that the army station in Ruangode didn't do anything to come out to the roadside where they can prevent the attack.
When contacted, the police public relations officer, Katsina State Command, SP Gambo Isa, told Trust Television that the command is investigating the two attacks. Abdullahi Ismayamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
In a similar vein, bandits on Thursday stormed Dadara village in Jibia local government area of Katsina State, where they killed 6 people, including the village head. Confirming the incident, the police public relations officer in Katsina, SP Gambo Isa, said 5 people were killed, including the village head, Jafaru Rabiu, popularly known as Magaji Yangaya, and his house help, Mansir Danye, and abducted some people. Abdullahi Yamadi gives us an update.
The update is that 6 people, including the village head, have been killed and over 20 wounded following an attack by suspected bandits on Dadara and Dadara Liman villages of Jibia local government area of Katsina State. The bandits, who were heavily armed, stormed the 2 villages around 11 p.m. on Wednesday and started shooting indiscriminately. The bandits also were conveyed to the villages in a J5 bus and Golf-wagon vehicles. They also abducted over 20 people, including women, adults, and children. Similarly, over 10 people sustained various degrees of injuries, mostly from gunshots, and have been hospitalized at Jibia and Katsina General Hospitals. The report also indicates that the bandits looted shops and rustled an unspecified number of animals, including cows, sheep, and goats. When I called one of the villagers, he told me that security personnel, including police, the customs, immigration stationed at the villages took to their heels on hearing heavy gunshots during the attack. They however made frantic effort to chase the bandits on Thursday morning and recovered some animals. As it is now, the villagers are living in fears, and reports said most of them have relocated to other neighboring towns and villages for safety. When I contacted the public relations officer of Kaduna State Police Command, SP Kamboisa, he told Trust Television that efforts are being made to track down the culprits and bring them to justice. I think this is the report I had so far. Some of the military personnel and police chased the bandits this morning, and they were able to recover some animals. And besides that, the villagers told Television this morning, or rather this afternoon, that they have seen security personnel heavily armed going around the two villages. This is exactly what they have been saying.
Now, staying with security matters, Governor of Borno State Babagana Zulum has warned that Boko Haram's menace will be a child's play if the Islamic State in West Africa province is allowed to grow. He gave the warning when he appeared on the weekly briefing organized by the Presidential Communication Team at the State House, Abuja, on Thursday. The Zulum tasked the Nigerian army to re-strategize and defeat ISWAP, noting that the group pose a threat to the entire nation.
The outcome of the Recovery and Peace-Building Assessment by the World Bank, EU and UN revealed that the total sum of about $6.9 billion was lost as a result of the insurgency in the entire northeastern state. Out of this, Borno State accounts for over 2/3%. The insurgents have destroyed about 5,000 classrooms in Borno State. About 800 municipal buildings were destroyed, comprising of local government secretariat, prisons, traditional rulers' buildings, among others. They destroyed about 713 energy distribution lines. Furthermore, they destroyed about 1,600 water sources. In addition to this one, we harvested a total number of about 49,311 widows and about 49,917 orphans. These are official figures. The unofficial figures are more than this. We have seen in Borno State, the incidences of bomb attacks has been reduced drastically. Yes. For how long? Before then, on a daily basis, we have been witnessing bombings throughout Borno State. But this has been reduced by about 80%, if not more than 90%. Reconstruction of lives and livelihoods embark upon relentlessly. Over 5,000 physical infrastructure built by the state and federal government. Partnership with international community help to strengthen government efforts. We partner with international organizations. Yes, sometimes we differ in our own understandings, but most importantly, the UN OCHA, the UN agencies, and some international organizations and local organizations have given great support to the government of Borno State because we have what we call a return strategy. High-level steering committee meeting headed by the deputy governor. Membership cut across different strata.
Now to other news. Normalcy has been restored to Oyun Baptist High School in Ijagbo, Oyun local government area of Kwara State after the school authorities returned hijab-wearing students to home. Few people sustained injuries during protest over the incident on Thursday. The state government had made use of hijab by students optional. The report.
For the past few weeks, hijab-wearing female Muslim students have been driven out of this public school in spite of the directive by the state government that willing female students should be allowed to wear either the hijab or beret. A visit to the school on Thursday shows youth from dominant faiths mobilized to the school and engaged in the face-off before they were dispersed by security operatives. Though normalcy has returned, security operatives are stationed around the area to forestall another breakdown of law and order. Police Public Relations Officer in Kwara State, while confirming the incident, says the issue started last week when some hijab-wearing students were turned back by the school authority and the insistence of the parents of the girls to ensure the entrance of the girls led to the crisis this morning.
Sometimes last week, we had an information that from the Jagbo axis that the Baptist Secondary School, Jagbo, about 7 children of from the Islamic faith were denied entry into the school with hijab, and that has been on for like 1 or 2 weeks. And suddenly yesterday we were told that the people in hijab, the parents and many other people protested to Kwara State government, and the government decided to send a delegation there to resolve the matter, because sometimes last year we had issues in Ilorin where government intervened and the camp was restored. So it was surprising that the same thing had erupted in the Jagbo area yesterday. So this morning we heard that a lot of people brandishing guns and the rest of them had almost invaded the school. So based on that information, the Commissioner of Police directed teams of policemen to go there and restore peace. And that was what happened this morning.
The police spokesman, however, could not confirm if there are any casualties. But a source says a fatally wounded boy is receiving treatment in an undisclosed hospital.
Now, fire engulfed a floating production, storage and offloading vessel named Trinity Spirit in the early hours of Wednesday, located at the Opokiti terminal around Ektravo's Warri, Southwest Delta State. Confirming the incident in a statement, the Chief Executive Officer, Sheba Exploration and Production Company Limited, Ikemefuna Okafor, said that the fire caused an explosion. Okafor said 10 crew members were on board the facility when the incident occurred, but yet to be accounted for, and could not ascertain number of fatalities. In a similar vein, at least 6 persons have lost their lives following an auto crash at the Ahia Udele market along River Layout, Aba, Abia State. The truck laden with containers filled with goods coming from the ever-busy East Street area lost brakes at River Layout and rammed into the market, killing 6 persons with tricycles trapped under the wreckage. It is feared that besides the 6 dead persons, many others may be trapped under the truck. Reports say that the driver of the truck had to maneuver the vehicle into a path at the market, as it will have killed more people if the truck had continued on the road. Following the auto crash, Abia State had directed the selling of the Aba waterside market and relocated the traders to a safer environment. You're watching Trust Television News Hour. Coming up after the break. How missing order paper stops House proceedings. For this and more, stay with us.
Coronavirus disease, COVID-19, is an infectious disease caused by SARS-CoV-2 virus. Most people who fall sick with COVID-19 will experience mild to moderate symptoms and recover without special treatment. However, some will become seriously ill and require medical attention. The virus can spread from an infected person's mouth or nose in small liquid particles when they cough, sneeze, speak, sing, or breathe. These particles range from larger respiratory droplets to smaller aerosols. You can be infected by breathing in the virus if you're near someone who has COVID-19, or by touching a contaminated surface and then touching your eyes, nose, or mouth. The virus spreads more easily indoors and in crowded settings. Maintain a safe distance from others, at least 2 meters, even if they don't appear to be sick. Wear a mask in public, especially indoors or when physical distancing is not possible. Clean your hands often. Use soap and water or an alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Cover your nose and mouth with your bent elbow or a tissue when you cough or sneeze. Stay home if you feel unwell. Get vaccinated. Properly fitted masks can help prevent the spread of the virus from the person wearing the mask to others. Masks alone do not protect against COVID-19 and should be combined with physical distancing and hand hygiene. Protect yourself and others around you by knowing the facts and taking appropriate precautions. Follow advice provided by your local health authority. This message is brought to you by Trust TV.
Thanks for staying. You're watching Trust News Hour, and let's have another look at some of the top stories again. Nigeria's government Thursday says it identified 96 terrorism financiers and 123 companies involved, insisting that the fight against pervasive corruption is yielding results. Wives of Bureau de Change operators in Kano are asking authorities to visit the case of their husbands who are detained for nearly 11 months without being charged to court since their arrest. And now to other news. Commissioner of Police in Zamfara State, Ayuba Elkanah, has distributed 1 million naira each to families of the 7 police operatives which were ambushed and killed by suspected bandits at Magami district of Gusau local government area of Zamfara State last year. The wife of one of the deceased police operatives, Safaratu Sanda, while thanking the Zamfara State government and the police for the gesture, called on the police to expedite the release of their late husband's benefits to enable the family cope with the difficult situation.
The welfare package of the Inspector General of Police, IGP Usman Akali Baba, PSC Daga, FDC, where we take the interests of the welfare of officers and men of the force, more especially those who lost their lives in the course of duty. You will recollect last year, October, November, we issued checks of millions to families of the deceased, those who lost their lives while serving the nation. Equally, on the 8th of November 2021, we lost some officers, gallant officers, from PMF 35, Dutse, while on Operation Bob Adder 2, fighting banditry in Zamfara State to ensure that peace is restored in the state. Unfortunately, in the course of the duty, we lost about 7 officers, namely Inspector Donald Marcus, Inspector Solomon Amperi, Inspector Stephen Ishaya, Inspector Nura Ibrahim, Inspector Abdul Garba, Sergeant Musa Lawan, and Sergeant Zubairu Sadiq. In order to alleviate the suffering of the family, His Excellency, the Governor of Zamfara State, Dr. Bello Muhammad Matawale Maradu, has deemed it fit to come to the aid of officers who gallantly fought to ensure that peace is restored in Zamfara State.
Yes, I'm feeling happy for now.
I'm just thanking the governor that gave me this support. I'm thanking him, I'm praying for him, my God bless him. May God help him. Those of police that remain, may God help them in their workplace. Thank you very much.
Now, federal government is working with Kaduna State government on the implementation of the at-risk children protection in the state. Stakeholders at the meeting said that the project, if implemented, will address the issue of almajiri and other vulnerable children in the street. The report.
The menace of almajiri and out-of-school children have been a source of worry to the nation, especially as security challenges continue to overwhelm the state apparatus, prompting government to set up ARCP to address the challenges of marginalized youth and children aged 0 to 24 years, as well as attain the Sustainable Development Goals. Resource person Dotun Adebayo says the 2-day capacity building workshop is to build the capacity of the state to address the issue.
Once this is concluded, it will mean that there's capacity in the states to implement the program whereby we're going to be reaching out to vulnerable children who are at risk within Kaduna, and we have invited people from various local governments to participate so that they can identify the beneficiaries that are going to be targeted for the sake of this program. We are working with various existing databases, and there's going to be also data gathering, which will be done not by us at the federal level, but by the state actors. So the state actors who know these children, who know where they are, who know where they reside, who know what the problems are the ones going to identify the children across the various local governments.
Some participants say the project is going to curb down the menace of sexual and gender-based violence, banditry, and communal clashes.
The target for the project is at-risk children, because we have a number of children on the street. And tackling the issue of almajiri, I think Kaduna State took a bold step as a program they initiated sometimes last year to evacuate a number of them from the state, where because by statistics, a number of them are not really from Kaduna State. They are from neighboring states who are sent for searching for knowledge to Kaduna State, but because of one or two circumstances of them not being able to fend for themselves is why they go on the street begging for what to eat.
Nigeria is plagued with out-of-school children, right? About 13 million by certain estimates. And Kaduna, being a northern state, is especially affected by this. The purpose of the At-Risk Children project, even though it was created by the federal government, is that state government will actually implement them. And what this means for Kaduna is that it would provide the architecture, both the implementation plan as well as counterpart funding towards ensuring the success of this program and targeting children who are aged 0 to 24 years, using different criteria will ascertain which ones are actually vulnerable and which ones deserve to be catered for and provided for by the ARCP.
The ARCP consists of 7 pillars, which are basic literacy, numeracy, health and nutrition, mental health, including substance abuse, entrepreneurial, financial literacy, and vocational skills, among others.
Student wing of the Coalition of Northern Groups has shelved its proposed protests across the federal tertiary institutions in the northern region of Nigeria. The decision followed a meeting with the President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, who promised to investigate the reasons for the unexpected hike in tuition fees by most federal tertiary institutions across the region. Recall that the group had given a 3-week ultimatum to the leadership of the various institutions for increasing their tuition by over 60% and over 100% in some cases.
Northern Group Students Wing, a part of its other consultations, also paid a visit to the office of the President of the Senate on Wednesday, 2nd February 2022, to remind him of their obligations and equally appeal to him on behalf of all well-meaning Nigerians to consider the current hardship in the country and see to the reversal of the hike, so as to enable children from poor and marginalized families have access to tertiary education. We appeal to the student and all other well-meaning Nigerians to remain law-abiding and not take law into their hands, as the Senate promises that we are ready to address the issue in the most decent and polite way possible. In line with the above, all zonal rallies and state press conferences should be on hold, pending the outcome from the Senate.
Speaker of the House of Representatives Femi Gbajabiamila forcefully adjourned Tuesday's plenary due to no availability of order paper which guides daily proceedings. The order paper is a program scheduled that dictates the proceedings on the floor of the House, and the Speaker is forced to order the removal of every staff in that department in the House of Representatives for possible redeployment. Lawmakers were already seated as early as 11 a.m. for the day's proceedings, but were forced to wait endlessly before the Speaker makes the decision.
20. When I came in, there was nobody on this row. You weren't here, none of your deputies were here. The order paper is not ready, we cannot function as a house. I mean, what kind of thing is that? What kind of thing is that? That we're now forced to adjourn the House. Please, everybody should see me in my office. The House adjourns to Tuesday.
Senator representing Taraba South and Senate Deputy Minority Leader Emmanuel Bwacha has left the People's Democratic Party for the ruling All Progressives Congress. The caretaker chairman of the APC and the governor of Yobe State, Mai Mala Buni, led the Dekampi on Thursday to the presidential villa Abuja. President Buhari formally received Senator Bwacha into the ruling APC.
We just want to formally receive him into the party, and that is what we have just done. He was happy and delighted, for a ranking senator like Senator Emmanuel Bwacha joining APC from Taraba, it speaks for itself.
I choose the APC because I know from the home front that is where there will be a level playing ground, number one. And then number two, the EB bridge, which had been awarded and work is ongoing, was awarded under President Muhammad Buhari. Nobody from my senatorial district is not happy about this project because this has been our cry since the colonial days. And under his watch, the Kashimbila Dam project had been completed. So I had to answer to the calls of my constituent to join this party and redefine the narrative in Taraba State and restore its lost glory.
Former Governor of Jigawa State, Sule Lamido, has expressed his support for the presidential aspiration of the Sokoto State Governor, Aminu Tambuwal, in 2023. The ex-governor gave his support during a courtesy visit from a large delegation of the members of the People's Democratic Party from Sokoto as part of the ongoing consultation by Tambuwal with major stakeholders in preparation for a formal declaration about his presidential ambition. Lamido, while speaking at his Baimana residence in Birnin Kudu local government area, advised the older generation of politicians to give way to the younger generations who have fresh ideas.
Device, ethnicity, religion, tribalism, zone, and what have you. And that's about time we know, and the United Nations, they know we save Nigeria. Our son here has declared that he's going for the Nigerian presidency, and I think he's eminently qualified, former speaker of the country, as I've been governor. And therefore the experience and also the youth around him, because people like us in the early 70s we have been called analog, and therefore have been phased out. We accept with grace that we're old. And we want to make sure that we give Nigeria the kind of leader that Nigeria deserves, not based on his own ethnic background or religion or zone, but then based on his own capacity and competence.
We are here to consult with him and the stakeholders of our party in Jigawa State on the aspiration expressed for us to now come and consult on a possibility of declaring for the ticket of our party in no distant future. Nigeria deserves leaders that can unite it. And there is the need for us to come together, first as a party, to unite ourselves and present candidates for the office of the president that is competent and that will be, by the grace of God, a president of Nigeria and for Nigerians.
We'll now take a short break. News Hour continues shortly.
Coronavirus disease, COVID-19, is an infectious disease caused by SARS-CoV-2 virus. Most people who fall sick with COVID-19 will experience mild to moderate symptoms and recover without special treatment. However, some will become seriously ill and require medical attention. The virus can spread from an infected person's mouth or nose in small liquid particles when they cough, sneeze, speak, sing, or breathe. These particles range from larger respiratory droplets to smaller aerosols. You can be infected by breathing in the virus if you're near someone who has COVID-19 or by touching a contaminated surface and then touching your eyes, nose, or mouth. The virus spreads more easily indoors and in crowded settings. Maintain a safe distance from others at least 2 meters even if they don't appear to be sick. Wear a mask in public, especially indoors or when physical distancing is not possible. Clean your hands often. Use soap and water or an alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Cover your nose and mouth with your bent elbow or a tissue when you cough or sneeze. Stay home if you feel unwell. Get vaccinated. Properly fitted masks can help prevent the spread of the virus from the person wearing the mask to others. Masks alone do not protect against COVID-19 and should be combined with physical distancing and hand hygiene. Protect yourself and others around you by knowing the facts and taking appropriate precautions. Follow advice provided by your local health authority. This message is brought to you by Trust TV.
This is Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story. Thanks for staying. You're watching Trust News Hour. Let's now join Chamung Dabeng for an update in business.
Four unions in the aviation industry have notified agencies of a proposed strike, which is set to begin on February 8, 2022. The strike, the union said, is over failure to release negotiated conditions of service since 2013. The unions planning the strike action are National Union of Air Transport Employees, Air Transport Services Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, Association of Nigeria Aviation Professionals, Amalgamated Union of Public Corporations, civil service, technical and recreational services employees. According to the spokesperson of the unions, Comrade Ocheme Abba, Francis Akinjole and Abdulrazak Siedu, they were disappointed over the federal government's non-implementation of minimum wage consequential adjustments since 2019. The initial ultimatum issued to government by the unions expired January 31st, and without the demands being met in any form, and have notified all airlines, ground handling, aviation security, logistics, in-flight catering and other aviation-related businesses, as well as the traveling and general public, that aviation services will be unavailable until the issues are fully resolved. In order to sustain the supply of premium motor spirits PMS in the country, the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority NMDPRA disclosed that it paid over 22 billion naira as part of the backlog owed to petroleum products transporters in the country. According to the authority chief executive NMDPRA Farouk Ahmed, there are plans to pay another 30 billion naira to the petroleum products transporters, saying that the move was to bring respite to cushion the effect of the difficulties faced with economic realities. During an interactive session with stakeholders in the oil and gas industry, Ahmed added that the 22 billion naira paid so far has surpassed the whole payment made in 2021, adding that the authority would deploy due diligence before making another set of payments to the transporters. Federal Executive Council, presided over by President Muhammadu Buhari, approved 115.4 billion naira for the dualization of the proposed Kano-Kazaure-Kongolam Highway in Katsina State from single carriageway to a dual carriageway. Minister of Works and Housing Babatunde Fashola disclosed this to State House correspondents after the council meeting. He explained that the project, which covers 131.4 kilometers, would be completed in 48 months. Minister of Transportation Rotimi Amechi said his ministry presented 2 memos involving the contract for sundry consultancy services for the supervision of the various railway projects across the country. Continuing, the minister said the consultancy services were approved at a total cost of $183.7 million for the contractors, including GIX Engineering Infrastructure Excellence, Yaroso and Partnership Limited, Core Consulting Engineering PLC. Also speaking was the Minister of State for Environment, Sharon Ekiazo, who explained that the council approved an energy transition plan for the country. Ekiazo added that FEC also approved a second memo to aid the waste battery management policy for Nigeria. Minister of State for Health, Olorunimbe Mamora, said the council approved the award of contract for consultancy services to facilitate the building of corporate headquarters of National Health Insurance Scheme in Abuja. Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS, announced that it will tax profits accruing from investments in bonds and short-term government securities by companies, which will be categorized as income tax. This follows the expiration of an order by the federal government in January 2012 that exempted bonds and short-term government securities from income tax for a period of 10 years. In a statement signed by the chairman of FIRS, Mohammed Nami, noted that with the expiration of the order on 1st January 2022, taxpayers are expected to comply with the new situation by including such income in their self-assessment returns and tax computation of companies in paying appropriate taxes. NAMI therefore urged agents of collection of withholding taxes, WHT, to deduct interest from WHT and other payments made to any company on account of income from bonds and other securities. That's all for business news. I am Chamon Dabeng.
And now on the forward scene, West African leaders are holding an emergency summit in the Ghanaian capital, Accra, in response to a recent spate of coups in the region. The talks on Thursday are initiated after Burkina Faso on January 24th became the third member of the 15-nation Economic Community of West African States to be overtaken by the military. Burkina Faso President Roch-Marc Christian Kabore is deposed amid public anger at his handling of violence by armed groups. Thursday talks also come days after the president of Guinea-Bissau, Umaru Embalo, survived an attempted coup after assailants armed with machine guns and assault rifles attacked the government's palace. The region's recent turmoil has stoked fears among ECOWAS countries that efforts to steer West Africa towards stability and democracy are failing.
Excellencies, the resurgence of coups d'etats in our region is a matter of grave concern. This evolution challenges the democratic way of life we have chosen. We need to stand firm to protect democracy and freedom in our region.
United States President Joe Biden has said that the leader of ISIL has been taken off the battlefield following an overnight raid in Syria that also killed children and women. On Thursday, Biden confirmed Abu Ibrahim al-Kashimi al-Ashi is killed in the raid and lauded the operation in a brief speech. He blamed the civilian deaths on the ISIL leader, whom he said blew himself up in an act of desperate cowardice as U.S. forces approached. Biden said that the operation shows the United States' reach and capability to take out terrorist threats around the world. In 2020, the U.S. Department of State's Rewards for Justice program offered $10 million for information leading to the identification or location of al-Kashi, who went by many names and aliases, including Haji Abdullah and Amir Muhammad Saeed Abdul Rahman al-Mala.
Our forces carried out the operation with their signature preparation and precision, and I directed the Department of Defense to take every precaution possible to minimize civilian casualties. Knowing that this terrorist had chosen to surround himself with families, including children, we made a choice to pursue a special forces raid at a much greater risk than to our own people, rather than targeting him with an airstrike. We made this choice to minimize civilian casualties.
And now in sports updates, the semi-final clash between Egypt and host Cameroon at the ongoing 2021 AFCON ended in a goalless draw after 90 minutes of the games. Though the indomitable Lions attackers were aggressive and hungry to score, the Pharaohs defenders were gallant and firm to resist the host. The indomitable Lion and Pharaohs are seeking a place in the 2021 Africa Cup of Nations final. On the other hand, let's take more updates from Adeni Ajishafe.
Higher goal scorer in 2020-2021 NPFL season, Silence Nwankwo has joined Swedish side Maccabi in a 4-year deal. Nwankwo scored 19 times for Nasarawa United last season to emerge league's top scorer alongside Charles Asimene. Maccabi finished ninth in the just concluded Swedish Allsvenskan Professional League. National Sports Festival silver medalist Mercy Umobang has gained entry into National Collegiate Athletics Association (NCAA) to join growing list of Nigerian track stars pursuing educational and athletic careers under NCAA guidance. Umobang, member of Nigerian track and field team to 2021 World Under-20 Championship in Nairobi, Kenya, is set to commence her collegiate career after being awarded a track scholarship to join likes of Divine Oduduru, Ruth Usoro, Rosemary Chukuma, and Knowledge Omovo, among others in Texas Tech University in Lubbock, Texas. While competing at third making of Champions Grand Prix and relays in Lagos, Mercy Umobang ran a personal best of 54.00 seconds in 400 meters and 23.80 seconds in 200 meters set at World Under-20 trials in Asaba. FIFA's proposed Biennial World Cup have come under scrutiny from International Olympic Committee members in Beijing, China, with warning it could create immeasurable damage to global sport. 3 delegates at 139 IOC Congress in Beijing stepped up to condemn Gianni Infantino's proposed idea before IOC President Thomas Bach intervened. National Olympic Committee of Africa President Mustafa Birraf says it will have heavy impact on other sports and create rift between women and men's sport. And in AFCON, fans celebrating Dakar after Teranga Lions defeated Burkina Faso by 3-1 in AFCON semi-finals. Africa's top-ranked national team, Senegal, lost to Algeria in 2019 African Cup of Nations and will be hoping to leave this year's edition. Meanwhile, Burkina Faso fans watched their team's fairy tale run at the African Cup of Nations come to an end as supporters gather in Ouagadougou to watch the Stallions. Despite the loss, Stallions' strong performance has sparked national pride in Burkina Faso. Coach Aliou Cisse of Senegal is determined to upturn history on Sunday. That's Sport News. I am Adeni Ajishafe.
Now, before we round up the news, here is a look at our Kika for today. Now, Mali is Africa's leading cotton producer. Cotton is one of Mali's main sources of export revenue after gold, but thousands of Malian cotton growers face sanctions imposed by ECOWAS in January, demanding countries close borders and suspend trade with Mali. Take a look.
Konate is a cotton farmer in western Mali. He expects a good harvest, yet he is worried. Growing the white gold is only half the battle. He still has to find a way to export it. But since the West African bloc, ECOWAS, imposed a trade embargo and shut borders with Mali over its military ruler's grip on power, the cotton sector is struggling.
Sanctions cause us a lot of difficulties because only 2% of the cotton is processed in Mali. The rest is exported abroad. If they sanction us, how will we sell our cotton?
Thousands of Malian cotton farmers like Mahamadou are sounding the alarm. The government buys all their cotton through the Malian Company for Textile Development. The firm controls the sector, from processing to overseas distribution. But since January, only a third of the cotton production made it through the borders before they shut.
We haven't felt it yet, but we really need to find a solution. If CMDT's reserves were to run out without us being paid, it would be a disaster.
The landlocked Sahel state's economy has suffered further damage from a brutal jihadist insurgency since 2012. Cotton is Mali's second export after gold and a key source of foreign exchange.
All right. With that, we've come to the end of the news hour for this moment. But you can also connect with us via our social media platforms, and also you can subscribe to our YouTube channel to watch us live on YouTube. I am Ayuba Ilya. Thank you for watching, and bye for now.